Hey everybody, it's Alex from Motoroso.com, your dedicated auto parts marketplace. Today we're in the studio, we're gonna be taking a close-up look at the MaxBrake's Elite XDS Rotors and M1 Supreme brake pads. Now this particular combination is for a 2015 to 2019 Ford F-150, but we have hundreds of different combinations for just about any vehicle fitment that you would want, available on Motoroso.com, where you can browse hundreds of thousands of other top name brand products sold by trusted vendors at great prices, and the shipping is always free with no minimum. So let's dig in. A couple months back, I replaced the pads and turned the rotors on our F-150, but we've been doing a ton of towing and it finally decided that we need to increase the performance of the brakes from OEM. But I didn't want to spend $500 or $700 on a set of rotors and pads because it's a truck, not a race car. So we turned our attention to MaxBrakes and they had just the ticket. Now, MaxBrake's whole business strategy is to be a direct-to-consumer brand that brings world-class level performance at a rate that won't break the bank, pardon the pun. So for under $350, we were able to get a set of their best, highest level product, the Elite XDS Rotors and M1 Supreme ceramic brake pads. Before I talk about the performance features of the rotors and the pads, I have to mention the packaging, because as trivial as this might sound, it really surprised me. Because the packaging is not only beautiful and attractive, but it's also highly protective of this product to make sure that it arrives on your doorstep in one piece. And that unboxing experience, opening all that packaging, really just conveyed quality. And I think that says a lot about a company. So trivial or not, I had to mention it. Now let's talk about the performance features of these rotors. The stock rotors on your F-150 are gonna be a real basic, clean face rotor. So the first major performance upgrade you're gonna get from your MaxBrake rotors is that they are cross-drilled and slotted. Now, cross-drilled and slotted basically helps to keep the face of the brake pad clean, remove brake dust, maximizing the braking surface, and keep the whole combination cool for maximum braking performance. Some rotor manufacturers will cross-drill and slot their rotors, but they won't always do it in the most optimal way. So on these Elite XDS rotors, these slots are actually a rounded slot, which makes sure that there's no little cavity at the bottom for brake dust to pack into. This maximizes the amount of surface area that can be cleared from the brake pad and makes it easier for the brake dust to escape from between the pad and the rotor. Additionally, the Elite XDS pads have a chamfered hole to maximize the air that hits the brake pad to help with that extra cooling and additional removal of brake dust. These rotors also feature an anti-rust E-coating. Now, of course, on the friction surfaces where the pad meets the rotor, that coating is gonna come off. But everywhere else on the rotor, it's gonna help prevent rust, which is gonna help it stay looking attractive, but more importantly, it's gonna prevent premature rusting, cracking, and maximize the life and performance of the brakes. Now, with all the punishment that your rotors are gonna be taking, it really matters what material they're made out of. These rotors are made out of the finest G3500 gray iron, and that's going to provide the ideal balance of strength and hardness to maximize the performance and life of your brand new Elite XDS rotors. Now, of course, all those features don't matter a bit if your brake pads are going to act like sticks of butter. So let's talk about why the M1 Supreme pads are the perfect combination with your Elite XDS rotors. MaxBrakes offers pads in carbon metallic and carbon ceramic. But these brand new M1 Supreme pads are a full ceramic pad. Why do you care? Well, these ceramic pads will offer smooth and quiet performance that lasts a long time. It lasts up to 50,000 kilometers, which in American is a little over 30,000 miles, and that's a long time for any pad. If you're doing a lot of aggressive braking or you're towing heavy loads, then you run the risk of encountering brake fade. Now, this is when the brake pads and the rotors heat up to the degree that they stop performing the way that they should. This not only sucks, but it's dangerous. So MaxBrakes runs these M1 Supreme pads through a process called scorching. Scorching helps to remove the impurities from the bonding material in the pad face itself, and it makes those brake pads perform properly, but also reduces the amount of brake fade that you're gonna encounter, and those brakes will perform more consistently over time. And even though these ceramic pads are already gonna perform quietly compared to other compounds, MaxBrakes went ahead and included an anti-noise cloth shim on the back of the pad that's gonna help reduce noise as much as possible. And lastly, this whole time you might have been wondering why the face of these brake pads is blue. I've never seen that before. Well, this is MaxBrake's exclusive GLayer break-in technology. Now, what does the G stand for? It might be gangster, might be good, we don't really know. But what it does is it helps ensure a complete and smooth break-in process, helps the pads perform better when they're cold, and it helps reduce the noise caused by glazing. In addition to all these great features that we've talked about, we have to mention that MaxBrakes has an environmentally friendly manufacturing process and formulation of their pads, and we appreciate that completely. Make sure when you swap out your brakes and rotors that you also carefully follow the break-in procedure. For this combination, it's a simple procedure where you do 5 moderate to aggressive stops from 40 miles per hour down to 5 miles per hour without letting the brakes cool down in between. Now they're gonna get pretty hot. Let them cool down and then do 5 more stops from 25 to 5, letting the rotors cool for about a minute or 2 in between. All right, that wraps up our product spotlight of the MaxBrakes Elite XDS Rotors and the M1 Supreme brake pads. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for all of our future videos, which is going to include a how-to installation guide of these rotors and pads on our Motoroso F-150. Make sure you shop for these products and all of your product needs at the Motoroso marketplace at Motoroso.com, where you can browse hundreds of thousands of the top name brand products sold by trusted vendors at great prices, and the shipping is always free with no minimums. Thanks for watching.